Hare Krishna, my name is Ghanshyam Das. I'm a member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I would like to speak on how I came to the Hare Krishna movement, which is known as ISKCON. It was 1974 when I came with my relatives to visit Sridham Mayapur. While I was visiting other temples as well, my grandfather brought us to visit ISKCON Center in Mayapur. While we were visiting and we were just coming out of, after we have visited the temple and coming out of the temple, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada was sitting on the first floor of the Lotus building near the staircase. So upon seeing us down the stairs, Srila Prabhupada had called by my grandfather's name, as it seems that he knew him from before. And so we all came up to pay him obeisances. So we came up and we all offered obeisances, touched his lotus feet. And during this time, while my grandfather and Srila Prabhupada was talking, Srila Prabhupada asked my grandfather who these are, referring to us, two brothers. And my grandfather told Srila Prabhupada that these are my grandchildren. And so at that time, Srila Prabhupada had asked my grandfather, where are they studying? So then my grandfather said, well, they're studying in their home or wherever they're from, wherever we are from, 24 Pargana South. Then Srila Prabhupada said, what you should do, you should keep them in my Gurukula that we just recently started in Mayapur. So he explained how actually by studying in the Gurukula we would become a gentleman, we will become a devotee of Krishna, and that will be very successful for the whole family, for the whole human existence. And so my grandfather said to Prabhupada that, okay, let me discuss with my son, and then in that way later on I'm sure he had discussed with my father, and then we all came back to Srila Prabhupada again, and my grandfather related to Prabhupada that yes, that they will be, if you permit, they will be staying in the Gurukula here. So it was like a sudden arrangement, And so thereafter, even from the very next day, we started staying in the Gurukula. And so then we started studying in the Gurukula, etc. And then little stories that I remember about Srila Prabhupada and my little interaction with him, I would like to state, and that is that I used to at least come around when Prabhupada was present in Mayapur in his room. Sometimes I would find an opportunity when no one was there, and I would just pop in, because I know every time we go there, he would give us a sweet, and with that greed, at least I would just try to go see him, So on one occasion, I went in, and there was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I don't quite remember either. It was Satswarup Maharaj or someone that I don't clearly remember. But he was in the other room, and Prabhupada was just sitting there alone, reading some book. And so I just went in abruptly, and I offered my obeisances. And then it was Srila Prabhupada. In the past, he would always, I guess, appreciate my singing. So he saw me and he said, okay, you sing one Vaishnava bhajan. So I remember singing a small little bhajan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, like Parama Karuna, or I don't remember exactly what song it was. And after that, after that I asked Srila Prabhupada, I would call him by Dadu, by the name Dadu, means grandfather. In Bengali you call the old man Dadu. So I would say, Dadu, why don't you initiate me? So many boys came after me, and you have initiated them. Why don't you initiate me? So he looked at me with a smiling face, and he said, but to be initiated, you have to chant 16 rounds. So I said, in the Gurukula, the teacher makes us chant 10, 12 rounds sometimes. I will chant 4 more rounds, no problem. So he said, oh, that's good, you can do that? I said, yes, I can do that. He said, okay, no problem. So he rubbed his lotus hand on my head and on the back, and he said, so next time I come, I'll give initiation. How's that? I said, oh, that sounds very good. So then he gave me a big chunk of sweet, and I offered my obeisances again. I said, Dadu, okay, I'm leaving now. He said, okay. So then I left like that. And then actually another thing I remember is that mostly whenever, during the time when Prabhupada was there, he would come down for Darshanarati. I would be down the stairs, and devotees would push me and encourage me to sing for him, telling me that Prabhupada appreciates your singing, he likes your singing, so please chant. So I would take this opportunity and chant as well, I would chant for Prabhupada. And one last thing that I remember was that we would all gather together. When it was time for Prabhupada to come to Mayapur, we would all gather together in front of the main gate and chant for him until he arrived. So one of the last times that we did that was when I think it was 1977, that we thought he was going to come. Not only we thought, but it was a message given that Prabhupada is coming. And as you know, those days there was very little communication with telephone, maybe no communication with telephone. It was 1975, 1976 at that time, 1977. And even if someone sends a telegram, it will take a month to reach, So anyway, we were informed that Prabhupada is coming. So we were just in front of the main gate and chanting from like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock until one, Then one such, in 1977, as the devotees encouraged me as well after the other devotees, they said, you chant, now it's almost time, Prabhupada's coming, so you chant. So, I started chanting. And I went on for like an hour, and then it started getting very hot. And I was also very hungry because I missed prasadam, which was at 9 o'clock. And but after some time, I was tired and I gave it up. I had somebody else was chanting. And soon after that, to our greatest distress, that Prabhupada's car came, and we thought Prabhupada was here. So we started roaring, everybody was saying, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. And then as the car came closer to us, we looked inside, there was no Prabhupada in there. And I don't remember exactly, but I think Bhakti Charu Maharaj was in there. And then we all went to the temple with the car and everything. And then when Maharaj got off the car and he went inside the temple, and he told us that Srila Prabhupada is not coming, that he was very sick, he is in Vrindavan, in a serious condition, and that we should all pray for him, that we should, there should be a 24-hour kirtan going on. Of course, in Mayapur, 24-hour kirtan was always there, but he was encouraging all the devotees to join in the 24-hour kirtan. And he also said that I would like to state that Srila Prabhupada wanted to hear the singing or bhajans of the 24-hour kirtan group, in which my father was one of the persons that was in that group. So it was made arrangement that a few of the devotees in the 24-hour kirtan group they all were able to go to Vrindavan to see Srila Prabhupada in his last days. Very unfortunately, as I was a small kid, I was not really privileged to do that. And in that way, I missed out. I was very sad. In fact, during this time, I dyed all my clothes saffron, thinking that, Prabhupada is coming, I will be initiated. So I was having everything ready, mentally everything is ready, but to my greatest dissatisfaction, that the greatest distress, that I missed out really. So that's about what I can remember of Srila Prabhupada's interaction.